Somebody has just made a lot of money in Magic the Gathering, and that's because this Magic card has spiked up over 1,000%. And it's not the last time this is going to happen. How many people do you know in life that will tell you a story about a missed opportunity? About a golden goose that they passed up on because they were unaware of how important it was at the time. Allow me to explain. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today, and a reminder that if you enjoyed today's content, to like and subscribe to the channel. We're only 120 subscribers away from hitting 22,000 subs, and thanks again to everyone on this channel who makes it happen every day. It's because of your support that I make this content, so thanks again to my patrons and my YouTube membership members. Now, what card are we talking about? This card spiked up over 1,000%, and that's what we're here to discuss because there's a lot of information going on. This is Sadistic Glee. Now, this card has had a reprint before in case you were unaware, and this thing came out in the Battle Royal box set, okay? Now, if you look at the exact same card from that set, though, it's already over the $6 mark, so for today's conversation, we're going to stay with the one I'm showing you right now, which is the Tempest version, and that average price is $4 US. The market price is $3.94 US. €3.30 to get that card into your house. And of course, you can see from the monthly change, this thing has jumped up really high. It's gained over $3.68 in a single month. Well, what are we talking about with this card? Sadistic Glee is a single casting cost enchant creature. It says whenever any creature is put into any graveyard from play, put a +1/+1 counter on enchanted creature. And as a great little flavor text, first blood isn't as important as last blood. It's a great line. It's a great line. So with this card, and you're seeing the spike in the price, what if I told you, what if I explained to you that this happens all the time in Magic the Gathering? Maybe not to this degree of level, but these kinds of spikes, like when you look at that price spike there again, and you see how much the card has gone up by, and you ask yourself, like, that's a really huge increase, right? Like, that's massive. Well, it's not as big as you think it is when you compare it to the price of the card, but at the same time, there are lots of cards that spike up in value all the time. Now, examples of this might be a card like Reparations from Mirage. This thing has jumped up 50% in just the last little while, but the fact it was a $3 card is now a $28 card. If you look at cards like Ulamog the Defiler, Modern Horizons 3, this thing's gone up 48%. Spymaster's Vault, 48%. Sylvan Paradise, 43%, and so on and so forth. They don't have to be old cards or new cards. They just have to actually be happening. And that is what goes on in the market. These up and down changes that happen. Now with old cards, when an old card spikes, this is not a reserve list card, but it is an old card. It's not one of the new ones that'll have a lot of volatility. This old card was worth nothing. It wasn't having a value point that people cared about. But for those people who did care and paid attention, I even mentioned this card 11 days ago on a top 10 video. When I gave this top 10 video, it came in at number 1. With 3,421 sales with an average price of 66 cents. It's less than $1. 3,421 sales. That means somebody spent $2,257.86. But here's the funny thing. If you tried to buy the exact same amount of those cards now, it'd be $13,684. So that tells you that somebody in this game made a lot of money. Because now that this is the hot card taking a lot of attention away, same as Reparations is because of what happened with that YouTube guy, the streamer guy, Wubby or whatever, when you look at those price spikes happen, when somebody moves the market like that, the interest goes. In the case of Sadistic Glee, as opposed to Reparations, Reparations probably won't hold that price more than a hot minute and it'll go back down. And now, this has happened lots of times in Magic, buyouts occur. Sadistic Glee will probably have a hot minute as well that will last a little bit longer. It's less than $5 a card. There's probably still pretty good quantity out there that'll come to market as the card price rises. But this card does have playability. It does have an interest factor that will make it a card that people want to get their hands on. And they're not going to want to wait. They're going to spend the $5, which is what a lot of these players who invest in these cards and get that inside track ahead of most players who are just the average everyday player and not the ones paying attention to every moment of MTG finance. I'm glad I put that card out on that Saturday video. And I know some of you guys bought those cards at 60 cents. You said, yeah, I listened to you. I bought the 4 copies for $2.40 as opposed to paying $16 US. I know it doesn't seem like a huge amount, but overall, market share wise, you've saved yourself a ton of money that you can roll into something else. Maybe you can buy a Happy Meal at McDonald's. The point is, you save some money from watching one of the top 10 videos. And I think that's an amazing thing. That if I can save you some money, that's awesome. Now, I don't cover every day. A lot of YouTubers have updated videos daily for this stuff, but I do give that top 10 every Saturday. And I explain what's going on in the market and why these cards values may be up and down and what you should be looking forward to and why you should or shouldn't buy something. I do lend my opinion to that. But when a card jumps 1,000%, it seems like a huge number. But let's remember, it's gone from the 30, 40, 50 cent range, 60 cent range, all the way up now to $4. It's still under $5. And I've found that cards that are under $5, players don't pay as much attention to the price tag. They will go out, they will buy the card, and they won't think much of it. Because, it was $5. I needed one for a commander deck. Look what that card does. It's gonna work perfectly because I can throw it into a deck with a splash of black, a lot of board clearance. I can pump up a creature as a kill combo for this card. If I have a way of doing some other shenanigans, it's gonna be amazing. Absolutely. And because it costs less than $5, buying a single copy means nothing to most players. It's like skipping a coffee at Starbucks. I've ordered the card. It's on its way from whatever website you're buying from. Very interesting stuff to see this laid out before us, and it does happen. Not just reparations. I've done it on my channel when we did Soldevi Excavations. If you look at the high for Soldevi Excavations, that was this channel doing a buyout of that card to show how easy market manipulation happens. But after the market manipulation calms down, cards have a hot minute like Soldevi Digger, like Soldevi Excavations, like many other cards, including Sadistic Glee and Reparations. That hot minute will pass, and the card will inevitably go back down. And some of these same actors will buy those cards again because they've made their money from you, and they're buying it as the card calms down, and they'll wait for the next spike. They'll wait for the next market to go high. Remember, the adage rule is buy low, sell high. If you don't think that happens in Magic the Gathering, you're fooling yourself, because I've done it thousands of times myself, and so have many of you out there. You've waited for a card to spike up and you go ahead and do it. It's just some people have more money and more means available to do it on a grander scale, to do it on a larger scale. I know locally a store that sold 60 copies of this, and it kind of caught my attention. I started doing the math on it, and that's where I got to that top 10 video. Now, that person must have saw something. It wasn't me, but somebody bought 60 copies for, 50 cents a piece or whatever it was. That's only $30. They saw something. Now, that person obviously doesn't need 60, 50, 80, 100 copies. They need 1 or 2 or 4. So they bought the rest to flip. And chances are they made a killing doing it. Again, looking at the number I showed you, from $2,257 to the same value now being $13,684. That kind of can make a difference in somebody's life. If somebody bought hundreds of copies and manages to clear those copies out, remember, it's not easy to move that many cards. But if you have the outlet available to you, a TCG player account, if you sell on eBay, however you get your cards moved, Facebook groups and whatnot, you're going to see there's a lot of ways of moving those cards. And a lot of players who have an interest in buying them because they don't want to wait for the card to calm down. They don't have the patience to wait. They just want to get it and enjoy the game and play it for what it is. And it's less than $5. You wouldn't be saying the same thing if I told you it was an Underground C or a Mox Diamond. But when you look at cards like this, that kind of movement, it goes in a two-way street, and it obviously comes down all the time. These prices don't normally stay high. So when the price goes back down, maybe a few people had the patience to wait, but other people actually just buy up some of these copies to hold on to because they know this card will inevitably spike again later down the road. And if they go in and say, I bought it for 60 cents, I buy it back when it falls in price at $1.50. But they made $4, so they're still out ahead. And they buy the best quality copies. They buy the near mint copies, not the moderately played copies they sold, not the heavily played or even lightly played. They go for the best copies. So next time when this ever happens, 4, 5, 10 years from now, because these things do come around again, they've got an inside track on a large scale market about these cards. They can just say, I got a big chunk here, I can put it on the market, sell them in groups of 4, out the door, done. It's amazing. It's amazing to see how the market can work for people and how it works against other people. People say this isn't like a market. It's working just like a real market. When a stock goes down, you buy it low if you think it's a good thing, and you sell it when it goes high. It's awesome. So I hope you guys have a little bit of a takeaway here about how the market can change and how cards can shift in value from being a 20-30 cent card to now taking the top dog spot, being a number one in a top 10 video. Maybe not the most expensive card, but the most sales moving, and 1,000% increase can really make a difference in somebody's life. And if they know enough of these cards, if they can follow the inside track often enough, they can really start pulling out some big numbers, making a lot of money, and really coming out ahead. And again, because it's general rule is actually less than like $8, right? But $5 is definitely a key point for people to buy cards cheaper. You got to keep that in mind, by the way. If you're like a reseller and stuff, keeping them under a certain price point, if you really want to move your stuff, getting it, always being lower than somebody else, that race to the bottom. When it's a hot market like this, though, you don't have to race very far, which is nice. You just got to go a little bit under everybody else and you'll come out ahead. And that's definitely happening right now. So I can't wait to see how this goes in the next 90 days, to see how the prices fluctuate and to see what people do. We saw this with Soldevi Digger, and I think we're likely to see this again going forward as more cards become available and as new sets come out, more connecting synergy cards come up. Commander can really spike a lot of things. Commander is the dominant format, and it can blow people out of the water with the amazing stuff they can do when people connect these cards. It's great. I love it. I get blown away all the time in Commander, watching and playing, so it's great. Anyway, thanks again for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me on the channel today. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for another video. Thank you again. Have a fantastic day today in the world of Magic the Gathering. And don't forget, guys, shop smart, shop S-Smart, right? I mean, that's how we come out ahead. A big shout out and a thank you to the fantastic patrons and YouTube membership members we have supporting this channel. Because those patrons and members of YouTube, we get to make daily uploaded content for everyone to enjoy on YouTube. So thanks again to the viewers. Thanks to everyone who makes it possible here on the channel. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow with another video. Have a fantastic day today in the world of Magic the Gathering. Okay, if you're here at the Ramble Jamble, if you're here at this point, Ramble Jamble! I told you. I love getting these comments from people who say, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I told you. And I don't have to worry about most people make it to the end of this video. You're here at the very end. Less than 1% make it this far. The YouTube algorithm tells me people get I get about 52%, 55% through my videos. So not very many people make it to this point. People who bought that card, and you guys know who you are, for like the $2 for 4, for a playset of 4 near mint, a couple of weeks ago. Look at the value of that card now. And to whoever bought the copies at the downtown store, smart move. Smart move. I'll be honest, I played during the Tempest block, obviously. Don't remember that card at all. That's how it happens sometimes. Cards people find, and then they get them before they get hot. Crazy stuff. Anyway, kudos, shop smart, shop S-Smart, and man, somebody made a lot of money because there's that one person who bought the 500 copies. Crazy.